Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the THF Extra Point.
Hello.
What up?
Hello. Hi. Um, well, gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
What a great weekend of football.
It really,
That was nice.
really was. It was pretty fun. I
As a football fan, it was great to watch.
I watched football more intently this year, and obviously part of that has to do with the podcast, but also like the little bit that we've gotten involved um, in like gambling, betting. Paying attention to yards, and I kind of already was used to that because of fantasy football, but like I don't know, there was just another layer of in the NFL season for me this year, and obviously the main difference was this podcast, like wanting to come out on air and talk about football in front of like more than just a couple guys talking, right?
Yeah.
Finally got to do it. Like I always thought it'd be fun to do something like this, and we did it.
You were right.
And yeah. I mean, and credit Janu, who was kind of the generator of the idea of like actually doing it, because one night, much like this,
Yes.
when I smoked a little too much. Janu hit me with the idea.
Janu is the original founder of McDonald's, and Jason or Wakko is the
I
Ray
franchised
Kroc.
it.
He's the Ray Kroc who comes in, swoops, and is like, "This is mine."
Yep. Yeah, I know we could do it. We have already spent a lot of time, watching football. Some of us even playing football, just loving the sport. So I'm like, we could talk about it, and we haven't had a problem talking about it. So
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's been-
great.
Just go.
It's been a lot of
great
fun.
time.
most of the time we got to get cut short.
Yeah. And Ray, if you're here, we miss you. Miss you, buddy.
Yeah, we gotta acknowledge we're missing a box tonight. Ray called in sick, so hope it's nothing serious, and hope all goes well, and he's right back to join us next week. But for now, we've got some incredible freaking games to talk about, because that was a fun round of football. Like, wow. Not a single game was boring.
No.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, most of each game was spent thinking that either team could actually win, some more than others, but like it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to watch. There wasn't a boring game out of the bunch. So where do we want to start? Do we want to talk about how we picked them? Let me bring up the old pick'ems.
No.
No, Janu says I don't want to.
I don't
look at
mind.
these. I don't want to look at these.
I don't mind at all.
I just want to tell everybody that I've taken a lot of risky picks like I did in the regular season, but this time it did not pay off.
Hey,
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're gonna completely switch there, buddy, because my picks this coming week.
Yeah. Well, we don't have those in yet. Everybody on the list here has until Saturday at noon to turn in their picks for the next round. But for this round, there were 4 people that picked all 4 games. Me and Dabs were 2 of them. And then we had Firestorm also, who should be here, but hey, we got to give him credit. He picked all 4. And then Digital Navy got all 4 this week. So we had some movement in the score changes for the whole thing.
Yeah,
For sure. But Dabs is still in first.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dabs is still in first with 100 points.
Who really, expected otherwise.
That was crazy too.
Can you tell us your thinking on why you chose Houston and Buffalo?
Um, the reason is because I felt like with the way, especially that Baltimore was playing at the beginning, I felt like Houston's defense was enough to take them out. And Houston, they have a lot of momentum. They got a lot of young guys, so obviously it's a hard pick. But I saw C.J. Stroud really going into that game and putting up fat points. And obviously, I still think he can do that. He's done it against every other team. But the main thing is that the Ravens defense is so good that I thought Houston's O-line would be able to keep up like they have all season, but that's been their main problem all year, and it came out during that game. So I feel like if that was improved, he would be able to get the ball out, and they would have been able to put up points against it. But
Stroud was
obviously,
running for his life.
Rookie QB, rookie head coach, like they got a good thing going. So
and also another reasoning behind that too for me is they whooped on the Browns defense, who was supposed to be, the best defense in the league. Like their defense is really good. So
That is the one thing. That is the one reason I almost wanted to pick them. I really did almost want to pick them because how well they dispatched Cleveland's defense.
But like what a run by CJ Stroud.
Yeah, really is.
And happy that I have him and never gave him away because I'm going to keep him for a long time.
That's a good quarterback. Fantasy football, dude. I'll take Stroud in a heartbeat. I'll take him in a heartbeat. That kid's gonna put up some numbers, I think.
Yeah, I got him when he was like 10% rostered, bro.
I got Stroud over Love all day. Show me where I can bet on this. I got Stroud over Love. Just clip it. Somebody clip it.
Yeah, good thing Justin Fields shit the bed, or I would be still running with him. I would still be running with him this day.
I clipped it.
I think that's the guy. I think he is the guy, I really do. I think Stroud, you've talked me into it, Janu. You've made me a believer. I'm all in on Stroud. I still can't root for Houston. I refuse to. I just can't.
Yeah, fuck Houston. Let's all agree with that. However, you got he's an Ohio State quarterback, though. They don't typically produce long career quarterbacks in the NFL.
I mean, with Stroud, Brian, I feel like it's like this. You saw an improvement throughout the season from when he started to when he ended. And he doesn't have any studs at all. Nico Collins is a good wide receiver, but he's not even in the top 10. I don't think he put up anywhere near as any of the top 10 guys did.
But he looked pretty damn good. He might be a top 10 guy next year.
That's what I'm saying. With Stroud, it can be like that, but that's what I'm saying is that even when Tank Dell was out, he was still able to win. They popped off against the Browns, who most people thought they were going to lose that game, and he only had Nico Collins. Obviously, Tank Dell is really freaking good. And
a lot of people are pretty high on Tank Dell too.
But dude, the thing is, people are saying the same shit about Justin Fields a year or two ago. Another Ohio State quarterback, flashing the pan real good.
Yeah, but Justin Fields.
What happens?
I don't feel like Chicago ever built a team around Justin Fields. They still haven't yet. I don't think he's I wouldn't consider Justin Fields a failure yet.
Yeah, that's true. He needs to get out of Chicago and find himself a new situation.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the right team, bro.
And Janu, I'm not saying CJ Stroud is going to be a bust, or he may very well be a great quarterback for a small amount of time.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's going to lead to longevity.
You have to go back and just watch the film. You can watch Justin Fields' film of his decision making, and you can watch Stroud's, and it's night and day difference. I actually went and I watched it for one of the games during the season. Every single pass he threw, how on point his throws were, and for a rookie, there's a reason why he broke records. There's a reason why he could win Rookie of the Year, is because he's insane. And he's doing that with a Texans offense that just last year they only acquired a certain amount of different people, and he's doing it with a poor O line too, a trash ass O line. He has to get the ball out so quick. They don't have a running game. I feel like you can't discredit C.J. Stroud for doing that because he's not just popping off; he's breaking records. And
And also the short time that Houston, you got to think about this, and this is tough for me to admit as a Cowboy fan that recognizes that Houston hates us, so I hate them back. But I'll give Houston credit where credit's due. The short time the franchise has been around, they've shown that they can put competitive product on the field, and I think that they've got another lightning in a bottle with Stroud, similar to when Deshaun Watson was in his prime. And I think they'll learn from the mistakes that they made with the first time that they were really good for a while, and they'll do better with it. And I think that you're seeing the beginnings of it right now. Like,
it's going to be interesting how they develop him because it's going to be a delicate situation. Like I said, it could be very good, but it's just, I don't know. Be cautious going forward. Don't be surprised if he is just a flash in the pan. But hopefully for the Texans, for him, he's not. I don't want but you just got to be careful with those type of players.
Yeah.
And Ohio, it's Ohio State doesn't typically produce long-term NFL quarterbacks. It doesn't work.
It's crazy how you can read that much into it, though. I mean, when you see the greatest of all time quarterbacks, and I know he didn't come from Ohio State, but he was drafted in the last round of the draft. So
He went to Michigan.
What? Because he went to Michigan?
No, I was saying he did go to Michigan.
Yeah, he went to Michigan.
Yeah.
But it's like, and he's, the greatest quarterback of all time, and quite possibly the greatest football player of all time, depending on how you rank stuff.
No.
But he was drafted in the 6th round, so it really, at that point, it doesn't even matter where he went.
Yeah.
It's like, nobody thought he was even worth barely drafting. And so I guess what I'm saying, like, it shouldn't. These guys are going to be good. It shouldn't matter where they went because they were cream of the crop.
yeah, like the Texans have never won shit. They never go to the playoffs. It was like how many years since they actually won a playoffs game or some shit like that? Like, it was a crazy ass time.
Yeah, it is. And Mourinho, and
they got
hats off to him.
Everything against bro. Like, he went to Ohio and he's a Texan. Like, the last thing you want to hear, drafted by the Texans. Like, that's the last thing you want to hear. Or the
it
Titans.
was for a while, right?
Yeah, because it's where you go to die. Like, what's gonna happen to their backup? He's just gonna be a backup his whole career now. Mills, like, he's probably just gonna be a backup the rest of his career.
I'd love to be a backup.
Yeah,
Hey,
the Lions were like a terrible place to get drafted to.
Cleveland too.
Cleveland, yeah, it's like you always like anytime these top end stars
got it right.
in college, it's like Al Bundy was the greatest football player of all time. He scored 4 touchdowns in one game for
we
Paul
just peek over the comments. Yeah, I just peek over it.
Yeah.
Just covers my face.
Yeah, I remember when Myles Garrett got drafted by the Browns, and like he didn't look like he was very happy.
Do you think anybody's going to be happy to get drafted by Carolina next year?
Who's their head coach? Do they even have a head coach yet?
I don't know the coaching situation there.
What do you think about Titans? They got their head coach. What do you think about that?
I need you to. I have not looked into it. If you have any news or insight, please share because I don't.
Well, I sent the post in the Discord. It's like I was telling Jason, I'm not crazy knowledgeable on coaches, but it's your team. It's they hired the Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan as our new head coach. That's what we said.
Oh yeah,
All right, so
that
they're
news
moving
dropped
on from
today,
Henry.
right? Yesterday.
It was dropped today, I think. I sent it today.
Okay.
So they'll be moving on from Henry for sure because now they're going to go towards a more pass
what?
heavy offense. If they're going with Cincinnati's off, you think of how Cincinnati's offense was just ran. How
Oh
much
yeah.
pass run compare pass to run? They're past that bitch.
They're a pass defense for sure.
So Titans are obviously going to start making a change because Henry's gone. You have a more versatile running back in Tajay Spears. You're going to have Will Levis, who is pretty mobile, and yeah,
I wouldn't mind him
we'll
staying
see.
and growing.
I think
He's shown
Henry,
potential.
yeah, I think Derrick Henry's going to the Cowboys. So
That would be
Look,
crazy.
Since that's one of my wish lists, off-season wish lists for Dallas
agreed,
is
Brian.
a power back, and for Tony Pollard to get moved back into that number 2 role,
Put him back. Yep.
where he can do his swings and passes and get back to being that dynamic running back complement to a power back.
Yes.
I'd love it, bro. That year
Yeah, I
that
think so.
Zeke was hammering people and this guy was dancing through people. Man, the running game in Dallas was incredible with those two guys when Zeke was, nearing his last couple of years.
Yeah, and Henry's 29 going on 30. So you got to think with somebody how good a shape he's in, he's probably got 2 years left, like two solid years left. 30s when they kind of start to decline, but
Henry would look crazy in a Cowboys uniform.
wouldn't he though? I have to admit, but with that star on the side,
with that all white,
that long hair, oh yeah,
the all white with the blue,
he would look sick.
I'm starting to buy into the Henry hype for Dallas. Like,
I have some bad news
really
though. I don't think that the Diggs thing's a possibility, but I will point out that it could just be cap because it's not like anyone's gone up and talked to him. But the news is right now is that he's fine with where he's staying. He doesn't want to move. However, it could come off season and he could be Drama Andy and just be like, actually, you guys fucking suck. I'm done with this. But as of right now, from what I've heard, he's staying. He doesn't want to move.
And to clarify, you're talking about what I said in the Discord, how it'd be so awesome for Diggs to come to Dallas and play with his brother. And somebody said that there was a rumor Janu, you said that he's already been like on social saying my brother needs to be here. They don't treat him right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine, bro? Lamb, Diggs, Cooks.
It's not happening. I think Seven did make a good point. I don't know. I think he might go somewhere else.
Bro, how could he not want to play with his brother?
I'm not saying he doesn't want to. I'm not saying they might try to make it happen. I just don't see it happen.
It's like probably not going to happen, but it's like a what if that could maybe happen. But
it's fun
I don't
to talk
think
about.
it will happen. Yeah.
Makes for a good topic on the podcast.
Last year it was a topic too, and it didn't happen, so but it's like his brother's there. He probably hypes up the Cowboys all the time, probably just wants to be with his brother. You never know.
Well, trust me, he's a Cowboy and a Texan. He's hyping himself up.
Yeah.
Who's hyping himself up?
I mean, if he's the star corner of the team, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you're the star corner of the team, then you definitely are.
Not just the team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
No, for real. That's like saying you're a pitcher for the Yankees. It's better than a pitcher for the Orioles.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's the notoriety.
Yeah.
The San Fran Green Bay game looked like Green Bay was potentially going to come out with it at the start. But of course, 49ers win that. No Deebo Samuel in. How y'all feeling about them coming up?
I mean, we'll definitely get into the games next week, but I just want like I'm still not ready to give Love all the love, but damn, San Francisco got surprised almost as bad as Dallas did. Like, is Green Bay legit? Like, they came close to winning that game. They had pretty good control of that game, most of the game. Like, what is that? The Debo? I mean, is Debo out? Is that what caused that?
No,
Like, I'm
no, I
like,
don't think so.
why was San Francisco? I thought that was going to be the game of the week. Was a blowout, personally.
I think Green Bay actually just kind of just came up out of nowhere for most people that weren't really Green Bay fans, and I think they actually might just have potential, and they just lost the game because it's San Fran, and also lack of experience because they saw how bad they whooped us, and they go out there and almost whoop 49ers too. So I don't think it's a coincidence. For someone like that was like playing so much different during the regular season, it's just crazy to me to see this in the playoffs. Even though San Fran won, I'm just like, dude, it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
Like the way they were playing all season is just like it didn't make sense, but
Yeah,
they did it.
Yeah.
they definitely kicked it into the gear when it came to the playoffs. I mean, the playoffs game, Love's game against Dallas was probably his best game of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember him blowing anybody out in that fashion that presented him that much challenge. Like, so it is kind of surprising to see a 7 seed that kind of like we knew we weren't going to get that out of Pittsburgh,
Hey.
and that ended exactly how everybody thought it was going to end. The 7 seed went down easily.
Yeah.
Like blown over. Like that's what everybody expected to happen to Dallas.
Yeah.
And it went quite the opposite. It was so weird.
I feel like if I was a Packers fan, I feel like we're right on schedule. I feel like anything making the postseason was just a success in itself. Everything else is just cherry on top. So
they have the bust alert like for next year. Like that fan base is probably sky high right now, thinking they have the next Aaron Rodgers and Brett
but
Favre,
they don't know yet.
like combined.
I'm saying they're on schedule. They're going upward. They're improving. He's developing. Now it's like, is he going to plateau and then go down, or is he going to keep going up?
Yeah. Realistically, like that's real. But in Green Bay right now, you're like celebrating, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god! Like I know he turned into a pumpkin right at the very last end of that game. He threw.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Houston.
Damn.
Same thing about Houston. They should be living on cloud 9.
Right.
Anything past a winning, like more wins than losses, there is a success. Let alone winning a wild card, and having probably the arguably coach of the year, if not Dan Campbell, it should be the coach of the year. Should be him. And arguably either him or Puka, Stroud or Puka will be rookie of the year. So
yeah,
they're in a great spot.
Yeah.
So anything more than 5-6 wins is awesome, and they're just hey.
They got 3 stud rookie people. Like
oh fuck, this is awesome.
Is Love not considered a rookie? How come he's not in the rookie of the year conversation?
Because he's not.
He's not a rookie.
Been there.
Oh yeah, he was there before. That's right.
This is his first full year, but
yeah. I forget that he sat for a couple years.
3 or 4. Yeah.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
And that could be the main difference in him playing as well as he did at the beginning of the playoffs too, is just having that experience and not being just put in there. It's your first year in the NFL, and you're just thrown in there. You got
That's
to
right.
watch, learn for a bit.
I don't know why this whole time I was considering Love a rookie.
So when I was born, Brian, this is the first playoff game I've ever seen the Lions win in my life.
I mean, he pretty much is like a rookie to most people's eyes since it's his first time playing, but he's just not technically a rookie.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
He's like a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I forget about that. Who was the guy that was
1989?
drafted with Stroud, though?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Oh, yeah, Bryce. Man, is that sad?
Who?
I forgot about. I forgot all about him.
You had
on
him.
on the opposite side of the spectrum, you could say the same thing for Bryce Young. Now you're kind of saying for CJ Stroud, he's in a better position. Bryce Young has absolutely no weapons.
I mean, yeah,
no,
that guy.
no O-line.
He has worse weapons, but he still has at least 2 or 3 solid people. Like their tight end, I forget his name on the top of my head for some reason, but he was on
Hurst?
Hayden Hurst. He was on Cincy last year, and he wasn't bad. And he has Adam Thielen. He's a seasoned wide receiver. He didn't really have any injuries. He has at least something. But yeah, the Panthers, they're trash. I feel like it's hard to tell with a trash team, but at the same time, if someone's on a good team like Tua, like the debate about Tua during the seasons, like, is Tua actually good, or does he just have Tyreek Hill and Waddle? Well, it's like, you don't know, but he's still making the throws, so.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to chalk up his first year being on the worst team in the NFL. Let's see how he has a whole year under his belt.
I'm curious to see about Bryce Young.
I'm not. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not drafting him on my fantasy team. Tell you that.
No.
No,
But
I ended up with him in an auction league because I went heavy wide receiver, and I didn't get any good quarterbacks till the very end. So, and Bryce Young is who I had. So, and I forgot who he was.
the league that I won with my buddies, my quarterback was Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, that's
not
a
bad.
Rags to riches. Like that's a fucking totally opposite story, isn't it?
Yeah,
He was in the MVP conversation this year, and he was the last pick in his draft.
Mr. Irrelevant.
And look, he might have took a little bit to get going, but he got it going, and he won that game.
Mom doesn't even know the age of her children. She said, "My youngest. Your youngest is 19. I'm 23." So my youngest is 23. Sorry, I just had to notice that because you was commenting. Come on.
Oh my
God. Do
God.
better. Don't even know your children's age. Maybe I did drink.
Oh, God.
Way to go, Lobster. God damn
it. Forgot. She forgot, man.
It's contact high. Oh, man. Hang on, we gotta top off here. So, what game were we on? Oh, okay, so Tampa Bay, Detroit.
I'm lucky that I didn't go with the other underrated pick, which was the Bucks this week, because I wanted to, but I was like, all right, the Lions are going to win. And they won. Lions look good. They have a lot of weapons. I mean, they have, I don't know, they have like 4 or 5 solid weapons at least. They're kind of like the 49ers in my eyes because they got the Sun God, they got Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, I do always go for underdogs, though.
Josh Reynolds is a huge part.
Yeah, and what's that other guy, Williams?
Williams.
Yeah, Jameson Williams. He could go off. They have Donovan Peoples-Jones. They have so many good wide receivers that just stack. Even if they have injuries, they have a really solid backup team.
One of the best rookie tight ends ever, Sam Laporta.
Yeah, the best rookie tight end of this year, really.
Oh, hands
by far.
He's top 5 tight end in the league.
Man, when I get high, it's like I just can't remember names anymore. It's just like
is that are we at the current situation?
Yes, we're at that current situation.
Are we enjoying life right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But it's good.
Good. It's good. It's good.
Good.
Baker started the game off with an interception. I believe in that the first drive, and it was early in the game. I can't remember if it was the first drive, but I remember it, and I was like, "Damn, Detroit's gonna run away with this." And it was closer, I think, than I thought, but I think Detroit kind of had that one for the most part under control, right? Am I wrong in that feeling?
Tampa Bay kept it interesting.
Kept it
Yeah.
interesting, but you never.
Up until the end.
Yeah, I didn't think it was ever. I didn't think it was ever in too much doubt though that Detroit was going to win that game.
Yeah.
If he could have pulled it out, he did until the end, and they were one touchdown off. They missed the extra point. They couldn't get it, and so it could have been a 6-point game, but it wasn't. But they still were only a touchdown away. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, it was always
that
close.
crazy.
I just never felt like I just even though it was close, I never felt like Detroit was in danger of actually losing the game. I just felt like Detroit was in control, even though it was a close game still.
Kelvinator, the teams I'd want to be, I don't think it'll be that probably, but I want to see the Ravens and the Lions make it out of the remaining teams. I feel like the Ravens deserve it, and seeing the Lions playing Super Bowl, I think it would just be a high-stakes game. Yeah.
Yeah, in an emotional way, that would be a pretty high-stakes game. Two kind of blue-collar cities that had, Detroit never winning before, Baltimore, like, with the current regime, not winning in such a long time, like, and having, like, just a completely different quarterback than, any other team, like, that most people thought would never be able to be elite because he has just such a running back style of playing quarterback, like there's a lot of storylines that could come from a Detroit Baltimore Super Bowl for sure.
So Max, Baltimore's not winning it.
You don't think so, right?
You don't think so? I'm definitely. I mean, I gotta take some good picks here because I'm already behind. So,
Does that lead us? Are we gonna say our pickles or not right
No,
now?
not yet. Yet, no. We still haven't even talked about all the games last week.
But obviously, if I don't think the Ravens are winning,
I don't got nothing to lose. So you could see me taking both underdogs here.
Yeah, in pick'ems, we've got you got to start doing the math at this point if you're trying to win, right? And you got to get if you're down low, you got to take the underdogs to get the most points. On the off chance that they or the most points difference, but in real life, like let's finish talking about the divisional round and then we'll talk about the championship. Because there was also the
Chiefs,
crazy, I mean, like back and forth. There was at one point there was like eight lead changes, I think, in this game. Like it was back and forth. Nobody had any clue who was going to win this game. Like watching it, like it was so evenly matched back and forth. I actually bet on Josh Allen throwing an interception on one of my Prize Picks bets. Obviously, that one didn't hit. I'm kind of bitter about that. But both teams were playing very tight, very, very good football.
Yeah.
And at a couple times this season, we didn't know if Kansas City was capable of doing that.
Or Buffalo. Same.
Or early on, but I think everybody believed in Buffalo going into this game that they were the more consistent, they were trending up. Kansas City's been kind of trending up, but also they stuttered along the way. So I think a lot of people wanted to pick Buffalo. This was their time to finally get over the Mahomes thing,
Just going
right?
forward, I'm just gonna say that I'm still not buying the Chiefs, and I don't think they're gonna win because this game. I'm still gonna stay on the topic of this game, but I think this game proves it because last game I felt like they got carried to it. Miami was playing in the cold. Tua always does shit in cold, and it wasn't just cold; it was freezing ass cold, as us Texans say, because we never go out in that weather, and so they got carried in that game. And then we get up to the Bills, where
But
they
that's the
barely
power
win.
of home field advantage.
Exactly, they have
Like
home.
that.
So they
That's
got carried in the first game, and then the second game they barely take it out. And on top of that, it's the Bills who they always win, so they have that on top of them too, or who they always win against, so they have that on top of them too. And I think just coming up, they're not going to be able to do it. But I got to say, though, still props to Mahomes for just always getting it out. Like, how does he always do it in the playoffs? He always wins. Shitty ass team this year. They got Kadarius Toney, different topic. They have Kelsey falling off. He's an old man now. They got a wicked bad team except for Pacheco, and he still freaking does it. So,
Did you guys see
I'm
this?
telling you, they're going to
Jason
weasel their way
Kelce?
into the Super Bowl.
Did you guys see Jason Kelsey like shirt off, like ah?
yeah, I saw that.
It was
That was
so.
fire.
For a second there, I was like, I forgot he was a Philly guy, and I was just like, yes, this guy gets it. I love to see.
Hey,
it,
he's
bro.
retired. He's not a Philly Eagle anymore. So
Maybe he hasn't officially announced his retirement, right?
I thought he did.
No, I think that was just like that was like the immediate media like coverage, just that he was expected to retire.
Oh,
And
really?
then he came out with a statement that was like, I did not immediately announce my intentions for next season on purpose. Like I don't when it's time for me retire, I'm gonna do it properly in a manner that gives respect to everybody
Okay.
that I come up with and yada yada yada. So basically, what he's saying to me is he's not sure if he's not coming back next year. You know, because
Okay.
if he,
I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of that.
to me, if he was already sure, he would have had that statement prepared for that game in the instance that they lost. But maybe not, or I don't know. I don't know how to get inside this guy's head. You know, like I'm not there, but
Doesn't he have a Super Bowl?
yeah, he does.
He has. With Nick
Yeah,
Foles.
yeah. He's already yeah. So he doesn't. You know, he's not chasing anything. I don't think so. Anyway, a lot of people are saying that he was, you know, he's retiring this year, but he's not announced it formally yet. Like nobody knows that for 100%. And to me, that says he's still thinking about it. You know,
Yeah.
and he could.
That's interesting.
You know?
I didn't know any of that. So okay.
Yeah. Unless I didn't catch some news. I mean, chat, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, you know, fact check me, whatever. But to the best of my knowledge, that's the latest news in Jason Kelsey. But I don't know if we've got headhunting. Headhunting would probably be able to tell me different since
Yeah,
he's
he
the
hasn't
resident,
announced it yet.
the resident Philly fan.
He hasn't.
Mm-mm.
Brian.
Hey, man,
Howard.
he man, dude, that's the one guy on Philadelphia's team that I like utmost respect. I don't know why. I like that guy. I always have.
Jason
greatest-
Kelsey.
Probably greatest center, like instant Hall of Famer.
Hey, he's a Northeast Ohio guy like me, so you
Is
know,
he?
he's from what, we're at Cleveland Heights, Shaker Heights area. It's about 45, 50 minutes from me.
Do you guys watch their podcast?
A lot of clips on TikTok. A lot of clips.
Is the podcast as good as the TikTok clips? Because I've heard of both, but I've not really been exposed to a lot. But I heard that the TikToks are funny as hell, and then I've heard a lot of people say the podcast is good. So
The
it makes
TikToks
me
are
want to
so
watch it.
fucking funny.
Are they?
Yeah.
I need to follow that to where I get in. I've never
7.
seen.
They're not firing Sirianni. They're not fucking firing him. They've already said, I believe they've already said they're not going to fire him.
Well, I think that's the speculation because he fired his defensive coordinator. So
Patricia?
I think it's the defensive coordinator they fired today.
Was it Matt Patricia?
Maybe I can't remember the name.
That dude can't
What
keep a job, man.
one of the two coordinators, I can't remember if it was offensive or defensive, got fired today in Philadelphia, and so that led to speculation since he did the firing that he's probably not getting fired himself.
Offensive coordinator Brian Johnson not returning to Eagles. There you go,
Okay.
offensive coordinator.
Okay, there you go.
Pulled up some news here. Did you go? Okay, hey, do we need to segue into a new topic real quick? Are we still running the games? Do you want to go through all the games first, and then kind of? I want to bring up some of the coaching things.
I think
I
think we're kind of done with last week's games. I guess.
All right. I just want to know what your guys' thoughts, what you've heard, and what your thoughts are on the two big names for coaching and Bill Belichick and John Harbaugh. What are your guys' thoughts there? Where are they going to land?
I haven't really heard of much, to be honest with you. And my first instinct with Jim Harbaugh is the NFL interviews.
John's Baltimore. Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
My first instinct with him is that the NFL interviews are leveraging Michigan. I don't think he'll come into the NFL again. That's just my initial reaction because I actually didn't even know he was gonna be up for interviews. I think he'll stay. I think he'll re-up with Michigan. Belichick, I don't know. I heard he got a second interview with Atlanta. Is that right?
Yes, but I've also saw today on Bleacher Report that they're starting to cool off. The talks with him and Atlanta Belichick are starting to kind of cool down.
I imagine that's going to be the case with a couple people. Because you got to imagine Belichick is going to be looking for the perfect situation. He's probably not going to be an easy interview because he's interviewing you as much as he's being interviewed, right?
All right. So that's a great. Okay, go finish your thought, and then I got some.
So I anticipate hearing more and more of him. He'll probably be the last coach. Like the last team that needs a coach, that probably end up, if it's somebody that is interested in him, like that'll probably be the last one even filled because like I don't know, he'll probably go into it with a lot of demands if I had to guess.
Yeah. So that
Be a tough
actually
hire.
Your comment was a great segue to another question I had was in your opinion, what is the best situation for one of those coaches to go into? What team, in your opinion, is the best situation? Like, for example, mine is the LA Chargers. I think that's a fantastic situation you can walk into.
Yeah, I think Chargers have a really good team, and I feel like he could work with it because, I mean, their team is just, they have really good weapons. I'm not sure if Eckler's still going to be there next year or whatever, but even without him, just offensively from a standpoint, of passing, I feel like it's really good. I feel
like they were already in a position. I think if you went back to our very first show.
Yeah, I predicted them in the Super Bowl, so let's not.
I mean, we were talking about how much they had. Like they were talent rich.
I thought they were gonna pop off this year too, but I didn't think they were gonna go to Super Bowl.
The fact that they get to dip into the well of talent this year during the draft is going to make them even more of a catch next year, and I think that's a that's if Vrabel and Belichick, those are the two, like those are the king of the mountain hirings. How does one of them has to go to the Chargers? Like, why would you go anywhere else that needs a coach? Everybody else got their
Man,
teams. Their teams are kind of shit,
it's
right?
It seems like Belichick would be perfect for the Chargers. He could
Well,
work
he loves his
Herbert.
quarterbacks, man.
He could work Herbert into a system like Brady with the receivers that he's got. Oh my gosh, it could be great. It could be great.
Could be.
Yeah.
And what if? Okay, I just thought of this situation. What if Dan Quinn leaves? He's going to go be the head coach of Seattle, more likely than not. Vrabel comes in as Cowboys defensive coordinator.
Is Vrabel looking for a coordinator job?
I doubt it. He's a very good head coach, but he may. I don't. Yeah, probably not. But still, cool to think though.
I mean, that would be incredible because I think that would be incredible for my wish list because I think Dan Quinn has topped off here in Dallas. He's a fan favorite. He's a coach's guy or a player's guy, and the players love him. But I still can't. I still cannot forget that he's the guy that gave up a 24-3 lead in the second half of the Super Bowl. I just can't forget that fact.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, the defense let me down versus Green Bay just as much, if not more, than Dak did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please just let Dan Quinn get hired somewhere. He's got a lot of interest. And he's done interviews already. Like, let him go. And then, oh my God, if Vrabel stepped in because Jerry's Jerry, and I mean, he got Dan Quinn when Dan Quinn was fired, you know, from being a head coach.
Vrabel
So
is
maybe
such
he
a
could get
good
Vrabel
coach.
into that defensive coordinator position.
And like, I really like Vrabel because he went to high school in Stowe, which I lived in Stowe for a while. So he went from Stowe High School, which is near Akron, to Ohio State, then to the Patriots, and then the Titans. So it's really cool to been able to follow him. So I'm a huge Mike Vrabel fan. Huge.
That's an interesting scenario that I don't think I've thought of before. And I don't know if it's even feasible, but man,
Never know.
It kind of sounds good to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think definitely one of those two guys goes to San Diego. Not San Diego, L.A. Chargers. God bless. Sorry, I just stepped into a DeLorean.
I think it will probably be Vrabel. I think it'll be Vrabel. But I'll be right back.
All right. What's the
all right?
What's the next topic? The upcoming.
Yeah, we got Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship. You got the Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship. First thoughts?
I think that these are two really good games to see in a conference championship because either way, even though the Chiefs have been, on a downfall up until the playoffs, it's still the Chiefs in the playoffs. You got the Ravens there, who everyone thinks going to win it all. They have that on the line. Lamar has to win something. Everyone's healthy there.
The AFC is really exciting to me because it's one of those, if you're going to be the best, you got to beat the best scenarios. The Buffalo KC game was two teams that most people think own the AFC and then Baltimore as well. And if Buffalo couldn't beat Mahomes, if Lamar Jackson is going to take the crown of the AFC, he's got to beat Mahomes.
Yeah, and it's tough to get that win out with Mahomes without weapons or with, because it's Mahomes. So, and the Chiefs
I'm a Mahomie.
defense, even though even though their offense has had a lack of weapons, the Chiefs defense is something to watch out for and can give people problems. My favorite Chiefs player, L'Jarius Sneed, he will lock up your mans. He will lock him the F up any day of the week. So you're going to have that target. With L'Jarius Sneed on him, it's hard to get the ball through. Lamar, how he throws the ball. He's had some accurate passes, a lot of them this year, but it's the playoffs. You never know what can happen. And so, I mean, personally, I think the Ravens are going to take it by a few. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
By a few.
I think it's going to be like 2 touchdowns, maybe 2 touchdowns and a field goal difference. I think it's going to be the same thing with the Texans. I think this is my take on it. I think it's going to be the first half of the game is going to be close and be like a 10-point each game or 17-point, whatever it is. And then the second half of the game, the Ravens, same thing they did against Houston. They're going to start popping off, and towards the end, fourth quarter coming up, they're going to be up by a bit. I think it's
now. Look.
Clip it.
Be
Chiefs,
honest.
Chiefs
be
by
honest.
4.
Be honest, Jadu. How much of you wanting Baltimore to blow out Kansas City is because you want to make excuses for Houston not showing up against them?
I think 0%, because
Come on,
Houston's the underdog. Like, they're supposed to lose that game. Obviously, I'm taking a risk with that, and obviously, I like the Texans, but it's freaking Baltimore, dude. The Ravens have been on fire all year long. They're supposed.
It's freaking Kansas City, who have won 2 out of
Yeah,
the
but
last 4
that's what the
Bowls.
take I was going into earlier. This was the take I was talking about earlier. I think the Chiefs are still the Chiefs they were in the regular season, but they got carried the first 2 games. I think it's like that. I think the Ravens are on a different level than the Chiefs. I think you give them the 49ers, I think it's a different story. Give them the Lions, a different story. But the Chiefs, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. I think I feel like they're going to easily win that.
Ooh,
I don't know, man. I don't.
I
understand completely where you're coming from, but I just don't. I feel like the Chiefs. I was telling Wakko, and we were talking. If it's scripted, dude, Chiefs are making it, because there's no way they will not let the Swift-Kelsey thing not go to the Super Bowl.
That is a good point.
They would make a killing on that. So if it's scripted, the Chiefs will make the Super Bowl.
No, it's scripted.
If it's scripted.
I feel like if it's scripted, it can be Ravens too.
Let's say it's not scripted.
Not scripted. I still feel like
it's not scripted. Who wins?
I still think the Chiefs
Gun to your head.
I think Mahomes is just a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
But how has Lamar Jackson played all year long, dude? He's been breaking defenses, just run and pass. He's like found the perfect balance between it. And he's older now. He's grown up. I feel like we just haven't seen Lamar's full potential until this year. I feel like this year is the year where we've seen his potential. Everything before is injuries, bullshit, whatever, still learning. Mahomes has been popped off, but Mahomes doesn't have the team that Lamar Jackson has, and he doesn't have.
And he's still doing all those things.
And Mark Andrews is supposed to play in the next one.
That's a huge thing too.
I'm just saying, Mahomes has proven he's the guy. Like, and I'm not saying Lamar is not the guy. I'm saying let's see if he is the guy, because right now Mahomes is the guy to be in the AFC. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I think this year Mahomes will make it back, just because I think it's a better story. But I just think Mahomes right now is a better overall quarterback. I think Andy Reid's a better coach. Doesn't mean I don't think Lamar's not talented and he could do it. I don't think he's going to.
No, I get that for sure. I mean, I don't blame anyone for picking the Chiefs, dude. It's the freaking Chiefs.
Yeah,
They
right?
always win. So
It's like
like,
saying you're going against like the Patriots in their prime. Like,
yeah, like you
Yeah,
can't go against them.
you don't bet against
Yeah.
Mahomes. You don't bet against Tom Brady. Obviously, and that's kind of where I wanted this conversation to go a little bit too. Mahomes is obviously the only quarterback in the conversation, current quarterback in the conversation to chase Brady. Um,
He's won 2 Super Bowls, right?
he's won 2, lost another,
Last one.
so he's been to 3. If
3.
I'm chat, you can fact check me if you want. Yeah, he's been to 3 and won 2, and in almost the same time that Brady had 3. I think it's like both of them. Or if Mahomes were to win this year, he would match Brady's first 7 years in the league, or something like that. Like they're very close at this stage in Brady's career. So that's a guy that you got to think Mahomes has started getting compared to as soon as he won his second one. So young in his career. So that's who we're. It's like the early years of LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. Like the early years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're seeing that develop. That's what's going on right now. Right. So it's hard to bet against him because no matter who he's got as a teammate. I mean, because it's the Brady effect. Brady didn't have hardly anybody most of his career. You know?
Yeah.
He had a couple guys named Wes Welker, or, he
Julian
had Randy
Edelman.
Moss for a little bit of,
Julian Edelman, Kent State alumni.
Yeah, Edelman. Yeah,
went same school.
It's just like those guys. I mean, Mahomes have had some people, and I think Kansas City will continue to put people around him.
I think it's a cut and clear in the AFC right now. The big 3 are Mahomes, Jackson, and Burrow.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
Stroud's probably the next one to watch coming up.
Burrow's pending health, right? Like.
Yeah.
This was
ACLs,
a tough year,
man. ACLs and ankles for him are a bitch. He should look into maybe like robotic ankles. That'd be cool.
And also, my concern, if I'm outside looking in on Cincinnati, is like they were instantly out.
Yeah.
The second he was out,
it was an off year for them.
They were hanging on by a thread with him.
It was weird. It was a weird year for them.
Yeah, very off year for Cincinnati. So do they pop back from that? I think
so. I think Burrow he's going to take his time this time. I think he tried to rush in too soon, and then fucked it up worse.
Yeah,
I think he's going to take his
next
time
year's
now.
a complete do-over. Like
I think he's going to be like, okay.
Of any team that did bad this year, that's the one I'm the least worried about next year. Like I think they're going to bounce back 100%.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they were popping off, leading the division. Like
the next year, it's going to be Bengals Ravens showdown.
Yeah, back to normal, right?
It's going to be. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. Maybe that's just because I've been a Jamar Chase holder, and so I don't know. I've seen how good they can be. Yeah, I think they're perfect next year. Bounce back just fine.
Lions and 49ers game.
Yes.
It's hard to choose with that one. It really is, because we've seen, I feel like, 2 different sides of the Lions. We've seen them when they're slow pace, not really doing anything but still competing, and we've seen them look like the best team in the league. And it really depends on which version of that team shows out, because they got.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because I mean they have 49ers defense to go against, and that's rough. But their offense is really good, so it's a make or break for them here. Because when you look at it on paper, Lions offense really looks like one of the best in the league. I mean, it's insane. But some games, like for instance against the Ravens, they just looked completely opposite of that.
Can we just say too, though, that 49ers lost some weird games this year too. They even had that one game where Purdy threw 4 interceptions after they went on that 3-game losing streak, you know, so like the 49ers they don't seem to be as dominant as I expected them to be in the playoffs. Like they didn't handedly win this game. Like I kind of thought that of the two teams, that I actually kind of thought that Baltimore would be the one that come off a little bit sluggish. It seemed like it was San Francisco.
How much does that rookie inexperience from Purdy come into play?
I mean, it's got to. It has to. You know, I just yeah, I mean, it definitely has to.
This is where I feel like it really is a benefit to them that they have, you know, Goff, because he is experienced and he's probably not going to fold under pressure like Purdy might. So
if you were to tell me that one of the two quarterbacks threw 3 interceptions, I would say it was Purdy.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I feel like if the Niners get a lead off the start, then it's going to be their game all day. But if they don't, I don't know. Either team could play like that. They both have offenses that can just snap. Jahmyr Gibbs could just have that play at the beginning of the game, just rushes for 80 yards. And it could be the same way with, you know, CMC on the other end. So it's hard to tell. I mean, I feel like that game for me is going to be a lot harder to pick, but I'm probably just going to go with the Lions. I think everyone's going to go with the Niners. I also personally would like to see the Lions take it. I think that would be awesome, seeing Lions and Ravens.
I would absolutely love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. I really would. I mean, I think it's well, we'll get into that. What's Whoa, Siri started talking to me. How much do you think being at home? I mean, now Detroit's got to go on the road. How much do you think that gives to San Francisco?
I think it gives as much to San Francisco as it's going to hurt Detroit, if that makes sense.
You think so?
I think Detroit would perform so much better if they were at home. I think it's going to be harder for them to perform away than it is going to benefit the 49ers from playing.
I don't know how
that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
How were they on the road this year? Do you remember?
I'm not sure. I also think Detroit fans are going to travel very well because they haven't been this far in so long.
Yeah, you would think that they should. Whatever freaking tickets are made available for Detroit, I don't know how that works.
They were 6-3 on the road this season.
And what at home, does it say?
Let's see.
They were 6-3 on the road?
That's not bad at all, actually.
So yeah, they were 6-2 at home, so pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same. Okay.
I mean...
And that's the Lions, right?
That's really good. Yeah, Lions. I mean, that's really good.
Can you look up Niners?
Yeah. Let's see.
See, we need a producer backstage to be doing this shit.
Yeah.
Lobster,
what are you doing?
I expect to see your application in the email tomorrow.
Sheesh.
Okay, so the
resume, please, cover letter.
The 49ers had a 5-3 record at home, and I mean, you can do the math; it doesn't show up off the way, but so they were like what 6-6 away or something like that. My math's bad.
No, it's way too many games.
Okay.
But yeah,
No,
yeah,
not
Oh
yeah.
no.
not it was 7-2 on the road for 49
Brian should be our stat producer,
and
actually.
5-3 at home.
You know.
So Brian, well, they both need to apply. We'll interview them both. Go through a few rounds, check their references, run their credit score. Just
Look, unfortunately, sorry, Lobster, but I know how she does math, so. She said, "What?" I know how you do math.
Yeah, are y'all taking Niners, y'all think, or y'all taking Lions? Didn't hear y'all's picks.
Man, I really don't know on this one. I'm rooting for the Lions. Like I've been saying this all the week on other streams. I'm 100% in on the Lions. As far as the bandwagon, because I'm originally from Michigan. I think it's an amazing freaking story. Like Detroit finally finds a way to break through and have some postseason success. And Dan Campbell, like I love his style, the aggressive, the go for it. Like I know it might be kind of cliche to say that I love that in Dallas because that's kind of what cost him the game, right? But I love that I believe in my team. Screw the analytics. I'm gonna go for it no matter what. Like I love him as a coach. He's refreshing. And then also Michigan won the NCAA college championship this year. How cool would that be? A month later, the Detroit Lions also win the Lombardi for the state of Michigan. So like, dude, I'm very kind of like I'm in on Detroit, bro. But I don't know if I can pick them to win this game because it's Detroit. Are we serious right now? Of course they're gonna lose this game. And so I'm like, I'm torn between what I want and my gambling interests. you know?
Yeah.
I think they're a huge freaking underdog on this, man.
They are, but it just depends, like I was saying, on what offense can pull up. If Lions really good offense pulls up that they've been showing on certain games, and 49ers got to watch out, dude. That run game is really good, and the pass game's there.
I tell you, what you need. I'm encouraged by Green Bay's success against San Francisco. So
yes, I agree. It shows the gaps in the armor.
Yeah. The gaps in the armor.
49ers had their stretch too of bad games. Yeah, those 3 or 4 games they lost to some shitty teams. Yeah. Depends. Brock Purdy, you got that rookie QB versus vet QB.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's gonna be a great game. I just can't. I don't know. I don't know who I'm picking yet. And in the Kansas City Baltimore game, Dabs, did you say who you're picking?
Kansas City Baltimore? Is that the one you're asking?
We're talking about Lions Niners.
Lions Niners? Oh, I picked Detroit Kansas City.
Detroit Kansas City. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm like I feel like I'm flipping a coin on each one. I really just don't know. I don't know which ones to commit to. I really don't. Because I agree and disagree with everything that both of you have said.
I feel a shot at it, but I'm for sure taking Ravens. I'm most likely taking Lions.
Wait, what'd you say? You're definitely...
think I'm for sure taking Ravens and Lions, but I might switch it to Niners. I'm probably just going to take Lions, though, because, I mean, the 49ers pick is like, that's who everyone thinks going to win. This was probably going to win. I feel like most people are going to take Ravens. I got to do at least one pick different. I also got to try and do better in the picks, too.
Yeah, you went from the regular season champion to the lowest score on the postseason.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because you took the risky strategy or if you just got them wrong. What do you think?
I think it's a mixture of both. I did take a lot of riskier picks, but yeah, it's all in fun.
That was the only round that every single person agreed on a pick. Oh, wait, no. Every single person agreed on the Dallas pick, the Buffalo pick, and the Detroit pick. We'll see how the next round goes. That'll be interesting to see how solid one group is versus the other in the community. Oh shoot! I wanted to bring up too. While we have time, we have.
I think that needs to be a thing.
What's that?
I think that needs to be a thing.
What?
NBHNC.
What is that?
Brian, what is it? What is it, buddy? You said it. We're just waiting. Oh, Lobster's is a new hashtag too. No butthole, no care.
What?
NBHC. No butthole, no care. Means if you're not showing your butthole, then we don't care.
What does that even mean? Hang on.
He said that I would get the job because I sleep with you, and I told him if you show a little leg, it might go a long way with you. He said, well, I tried showing him butthole, but that didn't work. So I said, well, he's a boot man, and so he put that hashtag, no butthole.
Oh,
Hey,
my
we can
God.
hear. We heard everything she said.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay.
It's supposed to be a football podcast.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, we just got okay.
derailed.
Well, that went down a rabbit hole.
Okay, so anyway, hey, just so you guys know, I am doing Super Bowl squares, 300 bits per square. This is the example of how you win. The orange one's the winning square, gets to 2,800 Fortnite V-Bucks, and each yellow square would also get 1,000 V-Bucks every quarter on the quarter. 300 V-Bucks, 300 bits per square. You can PayPal me 300 pennies. That's $3 for those counting at home. Super Bowl squares. Come get you some.
Carry a zero. $3. Yeah.
300 betties per square. No limit. Get as many squares as you like.
So if you spend 600 pennies, how many squares do you get?
2.
And if you had spent 300?
1 square.
Okay. That makes sense.
300 betties per square, or $3. You can pay.
What about 900?
I could
9.
just buy all the squares.
You can buy all the squares, yeah.
How much is that?
How much is it to buy every square
How much is it to buy every
and not
square?
let anyone else have a square?
What's on my ROI if I buy every square and I win?
You just lose money.
Yeah,
I
you
lose
lose.
money? Okay.
I'm
We
gonna
are
cover the
NBA.
spread. I'm gonna cover the spread statistically with 5 different picks and just ruin the fun for everybody every single time. And just try hard it. No V-Bucks for anyone. I'm not even winning anything. I'm spending the exact amount of money.
everybody. Like, nope, not for
Yeah,
you.
I'm spending the exact amount of money it would take to get the same V-Bucks if I just bought it. Well, I just want to ruin everyone's fun.
It'll be a good time, folks. Get your numbers. It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a lot more fun than what they made it sound like.
No. Don't listen to us.
All right,
Don't listen
since,
to us,
all right,
folks.
all right. Since it's getting off a little bit off football, and
get
there's
us
not as
back on
many
track.
games to talk about, I got one thing to mention then, just for fun, since we got time. Then, Kadarius Toney. I think that especially if they keep him, I think he's gonna pop off next year. I think he'll
Here's
do
the
a lot
hot
better
take.
next year. Here's
The
a hot take, and don't clip it because I'm probably wrong. But here's some content.
That's
Kadarius
code
Dude,
for
Toney-
come
clip
on.
it.
Stand with conviction. Say it.
As far as
Clip it.
his route abilities, Kadarius Toney is actually really freaking good. If you watch the routes before he actually drops and smacks the ball instead of catching it, his getting open ability is very good. He's fast, he's speedy, he's had punt
He's got
returns
good
this year.
separation.
Yeah, he's got good separation, and he's had a punt return touchdown that looked really good. He juked the fuck out of a couple players, looked really nice. And despite having all the worst luck in the world and just being offsides on the one play he did poorly, if you take all those things out and just do the clips of him doing good, he actually looks like a solid player. Now you could say, well, you could say that about anybody, you just take all their bad clips. But I think the thing is he's on an offense that will need him, especially if Kelsey retires. He's got Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback.
Kelsey's not retiring.
Either way, I feel like they're going to not rely on him as much if they can't rely on him at all if he's not going to do good. There's going to be some games where he pops off. It seems like he's on the downfall, whatever. If he's in a situation where a team needs him, especially if he's on the Chiefs, if he can just get the passing in order, forget the nerves, forget about what happens, I think he actually has the potential to do it because he gets open. And the Chiefs need help at wide receiver. And I think they've kept him, for a reason. He's the games that he's done good, he looks good. That's just a random take. It doesn't actually even mean anything because I never had him on my fantasy, didn't watch him and believe him this year. But when I look at his clips, I'm like, he looks like a stud. Those freaking punt returns, dude. He looks like a stud. Yeah. If he can just get the catching down, Brian, the route running, he's got it.
I mean, the Chiefs, that was like their number one thing this year was everybody's talking about their drops. So I don't know, maybe they get a different wide receiver coach this year or something. Like maybe, but hard to believe that shit cup continues. I feel like that was a common thing last year with Dallas. Not this year, but the year before. We had a lot of drop passes here in Dallas. Like, sometimes it's just one year everybody's got it. Case of the dropsies. I don't know. Usually it doesn't last though.
The nerves are there, If you're a guy that's getting memed on by the whole world and you have to deactivate your account and shit, it gets to your head. If he can just switch it up, I think he'll be a fine receiver. Not saying he's going to go out there and be, number one, but what makes Tyreek Hill such a good receiver? Because he makes so much space and he's so speedy. And I feel like Kadarius Toney just has those traits. He just can't catch the damn ball. You fix that.
That's why he was
Toney's
such a
there.
surprising bust in New York when he was with the Giants. When everybody thought that him going to Kansas City would be like a wake up call and that he would like reset and live up to his potential. I think he's done better in Kansas City than he ever even got a chance to do in New York. So there's at least that. Like he's to me, he's got potential to trend upward. Like I actually don't think that you're far off in this.
Another hot take, I think Tank Dell's going to be a top 10 receiver, and I think Kyron Williams is going to be a top three running back next year. Some more hot takes. Kyron Williams, I think, would have been above or just right under CMC at a stat level if he stayed healthy. Because every single game they put him in, he's a maniac. But since he gets injured, I don't feel like anyone notices it. I feel like big ups for him.
Yeah, I mean McCarthy went through a long period of time where he was injured all the time. So, you know that all the great running backs. All it takes is a healthy season to be the best, because it's such a hard position. Most people, most people even have minor injuries, you know, through the year. Every once in a while, somebody not only plays every freaking game, but they also like just don't get hurt that bad. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I got a
like
hot take.
it's like
What you
what
got?
roll. It's like a roll of the dice. You know, that's why you almost never have, you know, multi-league rushing champions or multi-year rushing champions, because it's like such a hard position.
What's your hot take, Dabs?
Okay, here we go. Kirk Cousins will go to Atlanta, and Justin Fields will go to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's a hot take, yeah. You don't think they'll ride with Rudolph with their more success with them?
No fucking way. No way. They've had that dude for like 8 years. There's
That's
a
Yeah,
reason he hasn't
yeah,
started. There's a
he's a
reason
career
he
backup.
hasn't started yet.
He was a good backup. Like, from what I've seen of him playing, he looked way better as any other QB3.
He was
he's a
their
Brian
starter
Hoyer.
for a while.
He's a Brian Hoyer, is what he is.
Yeah. No, I seen. Even though I didn't pay as much attention fantasy wise, I did watch Rudolph play a while ago.
A
I
poor
don't
man.
remember how long it's been.
Brian Hoyer.
It's gonna be. I think y'all were saying like a quarterback heavy draft and a RB heavy draft, so there might be some options.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think the Steelers will draft one because they just drafted Pickett. But I think they'll bring in like somebody like Fields to compete with Pickett, and I think Fields ends up being a guy. They need somebody like that to compete with Jackson, Burrow, and Deshaun Watson. They can't be messing around anymore, or they're gonna fall behind real fucking quick.
But then the Steelers, just like the Chiefs, just find a way to wiggle in there somehow. So I don't know. I just feel like Steelers fans. I mean, I hope this isn't a hot take. I hope we all agree too. I'm just gonna sound like a hater, but I feel like Steelers fans are kind of in a way like the Cowboys. They had a lot of past success, but they get way too over their head on their team. Like I saw some Steelers fans talking about Super Bowl, and I was like, dude, do you not know you're just gonna get blown out on the first game that you play? Like, I like the Steelers, but shit, bro, they haven't been doing anything this year. And I feel like Cowboys like talking it up so hard, you know. That's funny though. I feel like this season my worst take was the Jets, but I feel like a lot of people thought that the Jets were going to do better. We didn't know that it was going to be shit on the first game of the season, but like we all had.
I didn't know Aaron Rodgers was going to get hurt, but I told y'all they weren't going to do as good as everybody said they were going to do.
Dude, I said the Chargers were making a Super Bowl, so I was way fucking off. So. They have such high.
Rodgers, if he can stay, though.
I felt like that was my preseason hot take. That was that everybody expected Rodgers to bring the Jets to the Super Bowl the way that Tom Brady brought Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl. Like they're like, first year in a brand new team, he's taken to the Super Bowl. You know, like people were talking about the Aaron Rodgers move to the Jets like that, and I was like, man, this is a bunch of bullshit. That ain't gonna happen. He's gonna go there, and it's gonna be the typical Jets. They're gonna suck. And everybody was like, what?
Goddamn.
No, whatever.
Okay, but at the same time,
goddamn Jets.
He didn't play, so we still don't know. We still haven't seen it. We still don't know.
It's true. That's why I said I didn't want to be right this way. You know?
Next year's going to be a completely different AFC.
Yeah, they have Breece Hall, dude, Garrett Wilson. They have, Gardner Johnson. I think that's how you say his name. They have so many weapons on defense, dude. Their defense, oh my god,
pretty good defense.
Dude.
They
have a great
they've
defense.
had a pretty good defense. I think they were
CJ
my
Mosley
defense last year.
CJ Mosley is a dog. They got, I mean, their defense, they have that team chemistry too. Like they know they're the underdog every game they go to. They know people are going to pick on them for being on the Jets. They know people are going to hate on them, but they have that team chemistry. If I
I love
think
it.
next year still my pick's going to remain the same. I think if Aaron Rodgers goes there, I think the team will pop off because they have way too many weapons not to. They do. Their team's really freaking good. They might not be like the perfect team ever. Like I still think they're gonna lose, but make to the playoffs and do something they could. They
So in
for
that
sure.
division, where are they going to land? Because you got Buffalo and Miami.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
that
that they're going to be in a tough division.
well, I think that you take the games out where the Jets, should have won this year if they had Aaron Rodgers. I think it would be more competitive. I think they would have beat the Bills. I don't know if they would have beat Miami in record, but I feel like coming playoff is when they would shine more. I think they would do just enough to get there, but still be like a solid team.
Let's
Maybe
not forget in the middle of the season, most teams in the AFC had a losing record. So, like,
Yeah.
you can it's not impossible to think that three teams from one division can have a great record 10-7, you know,
Yeah.
and up. So, like, it's definitely possible.
yeah, I feel like they would have been like the Bucks, how they kind of slid into the second round of the playoffs and lost. I feel like that would have been the Jets. I feel like that's where they would have landed in that type of situation where they kind of make it in barely. But it's like, man, even those games, think about all the games that the Jets had where they barely lost and could have won if they had Aaron Rodgers. All those games that were close, like they even had beat the Eagles this season, and that was, with the shitty quarterback they have now. And, as far as I know, they're going to ride with him either way. So if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, it's going to be interesting to see that develop next year. And if Joe Burrow comes back and can be healthy, I feel like if Chargers have, a new coach or anything like that, something switches up, they could be a team to watch out for. I really like thinking about, I mean, this is a really, really hot take on this one, but I think that the Raiders could be a contending team next year. And it really all relies on the quarterback situation because at the end of the year, they actually started stepping it up a lot. And they have,
O'Connell.
yeah, O'Connell, that man, everyone didn't know who the hell this guy is. And he just comes in and steps in and he starts getting the job done on a couple games. And some of the few last games, you're looking at it and you're like, are they actually doing this right now? The
Hey,
receiver weapons are there. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say it's like the Detroit Lions. They got a coach too that they love playing for, just like Detroit does with Dan Campbell. And like you said, they got those young pieces. Watch out, next couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if it
They
is
can
in
make
that
some noise.
situation where especially with the fans, I mean, the fans will go hard for it. So,
Vegas, like, dude, it's a great opportunity. Yeah, I agree with you.
and I got to
100%.
say, too, off note, the Raiders jerseys are hard. They've always, to me, been one of the hardest jerseys in the NFL. Like, I
Eh,
just love the all black.
dude, and I stayed in the hotel right across from Allegiant, saw the whole thing. It's a badass stadium, dude.
That
Yeah.
place is
It is
crazy looking.
awesome.
Yeah, the Raiders are badass. Their team, their fans, and everything. They can be a little bit crazy. That's what you need for your football team.
Yeah, but it's the Mexican ones that are.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
What?
Oh no, it's not a hot take. It's it's true.
Nah, but yeah, Raiders.
Our Hispanic fans are quite
Hey, so are Cowboys, bro. We got the jean shorts with the Cowboys jersey on.
New
That's like the
Balance.
number one team in
Yeah.
Mexico is the Cowboys. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, all
Jerry
my
Jones-
Mexican homies are Cowboys fans.
Jerry Jones has even
quite a
said
bit of
that, like,
Raiders.
if he did one of the international games, he wants it to be in Mexico City.
That would be hot. That would be crazy, bro.
He does.
They got Buenos Aires next year, right? They got a new one. It's either there or Brazil. I don't remember. They're adding a new South American city next year for the international games.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's either
That's cool.
Buenos Aires, Argentina, or I think it might be Brazil, Sao Paulo.
Dude, Brazil would be crazy.
I think it's Brazil. I don't see why the hell they'd go to Argentina. I think it's Brazil.
Brazil fans, just for any sport, always go hard. So, like, if they adapt anyone's team, if you have Brazil on your side, oh man. I mean, I know y'all don't watch. I mean, I don't know if you do, Daz, but like for UFC, Brazil goes hard. Like Brazil is everything in the UFC. If you got yellow shorts on, I mean, Brazil is screaming. You got it's always packed as hell. It's so packed because Brazil they don't have like a lot as far as sports go. Like they love soccer and they got UFC. That's it. But for when they do go hard, they freaking do. Is Brazilians love Brazil. They got that. They got that spirit. So if you have like someone like the Jaguars who like adapt to area like when they go to their other places and stuff
When they
like
go to
that.
UK,
If they got
like-
Brazil, bro. Oh my
their
god.
de facto UK team is Jacksonville Jaguars.
They won't barely know any English, but they'll just look at you and be like, Jaguars, Jaguars. That's all they'll say.
Jaguars ain't getting it.
They already got their bandwagons.
Yeah.
Cowboys. Any other recent topics, or we go over everything?
I think that was about it. You guys got any extra points?
Oh shit! Did you guys hear me? What I just said?
No.
What?
Sao Paulo is 2024. It was outbid against Madrid, Spain, which is supposedly going to be the 2025 new one. So this coming year will be Brazil, and the following year will probably be Spain.
That's awesome.
Okay,
bro.
okay.
Brazil.
Yep.
Go
So
hard.
Sao Paulo.
I hope we get some Brazilian refs.
I don't think it'll be the same as fighting. The NFL will bring their own refs.
I don't know, bro. Oh, for the refs, yeah. No, they're definitely not going to.
They're not gonna
Yeah.
not gonna
It'll
bring
be
in
interesting to
MMA
see who plays.
refs.
It'll be interesting to see who plays in Brazil. Who they're gonna
Probably
try to
some rematch playoffs game like Chiefs and Ravens or some shit.
because Jags pretty much established themselves as like the European team.
Yeah, the UK team. is
Send
definitely-
Texans to
yeah.
Brazil. That'll be their first experience. Texans haven't always been good. What the
I
hell?
feel like it's gonna be the Dolphins that are gonna be the ones that head to Brazil.
No. There's already too many bandwagon Dolphins fans.
It's the closest geographically. They're gonna have the most
Yeah.
relatable fan base. Like, you know what I
That's
mean?
like the key. Like that's why Jones said that he's willing to do it if they do one in Mexico, because you got to give up a home game to do the international game. Like that's part of the deal, right? I guess you have to give up a home game at some point to do that, and he doesn't want to. So
Yeah.
that's why That's why the Dallas Cowboys have never been to the UK or what any of the international games, Germany, whatever.
Yeah.
Cowboys for sure ain't going to do it because, they don't want to lose a home game. Now it might not matter as much since we lost home game.
No, it's a long. I mean, it's been going on long before the 16-0 record or was even started. That's like a long time thing. All right, boys. Well, let's get out of here. You got nothing else? I got nothing else. I just I'll say my extra point. I feel sorry for the city of Baltimore if they do win this game, because like, I mean, they're gonna blow up their city if they win or lose. It's like every time a championship happens with Baltimore involved, like they just destroy the city if they win or lose. I feel bad for Baltimore if they make it. So go Kansas City if you want Baltimore to survive.
Yeah, watch out for Legarius Sneed, man. Watch out for the Sneedster. That man, just watch. That's all I'm saying. Just watch.
My
It's
hot take.
probably
Go ahead.
good.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I was just gonna say it's probably gonna be Zay Flowers or Odell that gets locked up. But if they put him on Mark Andrews, oh my god, it's gonna be a matchup. I don't think that it's gonna work like that because he's a tight end. But you never know what the Chiefs will do. All right, that's all I had to say.
All right. My hot take is not about the NFL. I got a Bleacher Report update that I don't care. Nobody really cares about the NBA, but I do, so I'm going to say it. Doc Rivers was hired as Milwaukee Bucks head coach, which is a huge deal because Doc Rivers is like one of the best NBA coaches ever. And now he's coaching Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anyways, and Damian Lillard. So big deal. If you're looking in sports betting, I would bet into the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a good way. Look into them, basically, because Doc Rivers is there and it's going to make a huge difference.
Oh, and that's one thing we didn't cover tonight was our parlay. We lost last week. Firestorm's the cheerleader on the primetime parlay, so we'll get some bets put together behind the scenes since he was out sick tonight, and then we'll let you know in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. DM me if you have any questions about Monday Night Football pick'ems, or now Super Bowl squares. I did that completely wrong. Anyway, yeah, Super Bowl squares. Shoot me a DM if you got any questions on how to get a square. Gentlemen,
Adios.
later. Where's the button?
Bye-bye.